Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning. Well, all three commissioners are here and we have Brandy at the keyboard today. There's a few people in the crowd here. I guess we'll start with the board minutes from the meeting on March 17th.
Don't we have public comment first?
Nope,
Okay, not anymore at all.
we do.
At 9:10.
9:10.
Oh, okay, thank you, sorry.
I make a motion that we accept the board minutes from March 17th, 2026.
Next second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion very fast. We'll have a discussion on the release of draft minutes. Or the draft of commission meeting minutes.
I think Blaine had a comment on that. I don't know if he's here or not.
Alright. Yeah,
I'm not really sure when we decided that we would let I didn't look that up and I'm sorry, I apologize. But it was not a permanent thing. We were going to try it. We were going to give it some time to see if this was something that we should be able, to release the draft minutes. And right now, it's what's happening, excuse me, is we're getting asked for this, or I think from what I understand, Miranda's getting asked for this, and it's turning out that I think our first option of releasing minutes would be after they've been approved by the commission. And those approved minutes, if read by the public, they then can bring it up and say, okay, we feel this is wrong.
I agree with that too. I mean, in draft minutes, once we approve them, then they go out to the public, and then if people have issues with the approved finalized draft minutes, that's when they bring it to our attention and we can fix it, or discuss it, and in some cases, fix the language.
And they can get them in and the clerk in the corridor instead of having Miranda do them. She's so.
Yeah, and if they wanna come get them, they can come to the clerk quarters to get them. Because they're posted on the website anyway, so if you want a hard copy, you can come in and get them from the clerk and quarter.
They probably print from the website, maybe you can they?
Should be able to.
Sounds good to me.
Alright. So we'll move on to correspondence.
Can we have public comment on that, please?
I guess, that's quick.
By the way, was that just a motion? Was a decision just made there? It was unclear.
Discussion
Just discussion, no
discussion
decision.
on release, and it says decision.
No decision was made. Okay.
So there has to be a motion made.
Okay, are we gonna decide that then, or it was just a discussion?
So the motion would be that, how to word this correctly, the release of draft meeting minutes. Was on a trial basis, and this motion states that the meeting minutes will only be released when they're approved by the commission.
We'll second it.
Public comment.
Justine Richmond, back in September of 2025, I recommended a more efficient way to handle the meeting minutes, and I would like to raise that for consideration again. I've reviewed some of the meeting minutes. I've actually recommended changes to the meeting minutes. Those changes have been made as some statements did not reflect reality. I have said that several times throughout these public meetings. I think, there is another option, which I discussed back in September, which is to make a combination of a summary document and the video as the official record. Now, this would save on man hours. It would also help with any issues with accuracy and objectivity. Okay, so the way that would work is there's the video itself, which is already put out there, as well as a summary document that indicates date, time, place of the meeting, list of individual members of the public body, agency, or organization who were in attendance, the substance of all matters proposed, discussed, or decided. At the request of any member, a record of votes by individual members, so any of the motions and any of the votes, as well as a timestamp log. That combination would save on any back and forth issues with the public, with the minutes not reflecting reality. It would help mitigate any litigation issues for the county. And that is what I recommend, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Go ahead, Derek.
Hi, Derek Campbell. So if I understand the issue correctly, we have a couple versions of draft minutes. We have the version that Miranda creates, and then we have the version that is approved at the meeting, that you guys typically rubber stamp, and then at that point, which versions would be available to the public?
The ones that are approved. The first set is it's basically a rough draft, so it's gone through to make sure that, you know, the spelling, punctuation, all that, I mean, everything that looks fine, and then it comes to us, and then we approve it, and so that is.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
one that's one that we post on the website and stuff.
And I appreciate that. I think the issue that I see is, in the short amount of time that I've been attending these meetings, I've seen a couple times where there have been substantive changes to the minutes from the original, or from what actually happened in the meeting to and possibly the original document. There have been changes made to that document before you guys approve it, and really it should have been the original way. And I think that in light of the transparency that we all expect to have with the commission, I think we should be able to see what changes are being made to the minutes before they're approved, from what AI is generating to what is being approved.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a comment on Justine's. The video is not our official minutes, the hard copy is. This does not fall under keeping draft commission minutes available to the public. That we'd have to change the legality of how our minutes, and we don't video the minutes. They're not the original copy for the Granite County Commission.
And the minutes are more of a summary, right? They're not verbatim. It's a summary, not word for word.
We do have that.
All right, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. I don't see personally, or in the view of transparency, why the draft isn't made available. I think the administrator, she has them prepared, and she can upload them to the website as a draft. And for the record, your comments as far as reading them and approving them, it would be interesting to see who of the three of you actually read the minutes when you get them from the clerk, the administrator, because you approved the minutes from last week, and there are several errors on that, and you just approved it. And if you actually read it, it begs the question if any of you read these things, because there's so many errors. It's confusing. You combine the two meetings that you had on that day, the health meeting, the commission meeting. If you read it, you would have seen. For the record, thank you.
Thank you. You got for the meetings? You got-
I have a public comment that doesn't have to do with the agenda item. Isn't that what the 3 minutes are for in the beginning?
That'll be after correspondence. We got public comment.
Exactly.
We still got a section for.
Okay, I have a comment.
Okay,
Everybody, Jacqueline Butler, resident 39 years of Phillipsburg. Everybody makes mistakes, everybody writes out notes and then, goes on and corrects those notes into a legible form. Nobody's perfect. I think you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
go ahead.
Justine Richmond, just to comment on what Blanche had stated earlier. The commission has an opportunity to change the way the minutes are done. This does apply to the section, as I'm recommending that you do away with this type of minutes altogether in favor of a different setup, which, yes, is not on the agenda today, but could be changed to a more efficient, more litigation-proof way of providing the official record of public meetings that does need to be transparent. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried pass. Going to correspondence here. His first email is from Christy Manwaring with the hospital board. It's just, they're letting us know where's this? So the board meeting is tonight, I guess, at 5:30. And it's up. And, letting us know that, Doris Gilbertson was, at their special meeting on March 4th. Voted in as interim CEO.
I think this is some, sorry.
But
I think this is some of that, when they were asking last Tuesday, give us a little more updates and stuff, what's going on.
yeah,
That's what they were kind of asking, bring the table.
One thing about the request of the commissioners being there, if we all three went, it would be, I don't think we could do it as all three. We'd be having a regular meeting, being together.
This next one is from the BLM. Just kind of, excuse me, letting us know, they're gonna be doing prescribed burns around the Missoula area here this spring.
There was one at Beaver Tail. to get back there.
Yeah,
It was in Missoula County, I think, half of it or something.
the next one is from Linda Ferguson with Ferguson Cleaning Supplies. I don't know why they sent us when they're wanting to contact the library to see if, clean their floor mats and stuff like that. Kinda like, Missoula Textiles, I'm guessing, or something, or I don't know if they still do.
Yeah.
So cleaning service for their floor mats, which maybe we probably get this,
I think it's out to
the library,
library, because we don't have any decision over what
they do.
they do with their budget and what they expend for.
We just had them,
We,
the ambulance down there, the bring crew.
we can just forward that on to president of the library board, I guess. And that's it for correspondence. We're almost there. Any public comment on
You
correspondence?
guys could find out when they're doing those prescribed burns down by Missoula, and burn the pile out at the dump.
They burned yesterday down that way, Jack. They were burning yesterday.
At the dump.
No, at the BLM was.
Yeah, if they're burning, you guys should be able to burn too.
We gotta go through DEQ, they got their own ground and stuff to burn, we gotta go through the whole routes of out here at the dump, to meet the specs and everything. It's changed,
Okay,
yeah, no, I'm
I'm
just.
sorry.
No, it's, yeah, we do.
All right, Jackie, public comment now. You can give your comment.
Okay, Jacqueline Butler, for the record. I'm sorry Blaine isn't here. I was a public official and I took the oath of office. And, you know, you're supposed to abide by state and federal laws and the Constitution. And for what I did, Mr. Bradshaw dragged me through the mud, let me tell you. But some of our elected officials can continuously get away with breaking their oath. How do you guys feel about that?
Who's breaking their oath?
One of the commissioners. Not supposed to mention no names, remember? You guys, Scott told me that, careful, don't mention no names. But you know what I'm talking about, right? I wouldn't write a letter of an apology because I wasn't sorry for what I said. So, off the council I went. How long are you gonna let this continue on?
You need to be a little bit more specific,
Yeah, I'm
Jackie.
not sure what you're
I
talking.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
No, I
One
don't.
of you have gotten 2 DUIs, is it you?
Is it me?
Yeah. Is it Mr. Kolaski? Or is it Mr. Adler?
What does that have to do with being a commissioner?
You take the oath of office to abide by all state and federal laws. He's 1 DUI away from being Brett Hamilton. That's not a good place to be. So, you know, hey, I think you do a good job. You got yourself into a bind. And now I think you have to do the right thing. So thank you. Have a great day. No hard feelings because I called some guys an asshole and told them I didn't like him and Blaine dragged me through the mud.
You don't think I ain't getting drugged through the mud?
No, because you're still sitting there
I haven't.
making a living.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you.
So Jackie, may I respond to that? Jackie?
Nope. Any other public comment? All right, no, we're we're behind, so we'll jump right into, weekly road report.
So I'm gonna make a comment on that, just, I think, I'm not sure, we'd have to get, from our county attorney what his opinion is, but the commission can't tell someone to resign. It's up to the public to do a recall, or it's up to that person to resign. It's not up to the commission to make the decision that that person no longer should be in office. And that would be something that I will clarify with the county attorney.
Alright, we're on to the bridge.
Just a minute.
Alright, Paul.
We are blading roads. It's. The winds pulled a lot of moisture out of the road, so we're starting going all around blading them, and. That's just kind of what we got going on. We're heading down into Rockwell, we're doing Rumsey right now, and then we're gonna start heading down Rock Creek. There's a one area on the bus run that's pretty nasty, we're gonna get in
Yeah.
first.
Up by the resort there from Ehalco down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, school kind of told me something about it. I looked at it yesterday. Yeah, it's
we're gonna,
not super bad yet, but it's pretty rough.
right. We'll get that first, then we'll start heading down Rock Creek. Like, by Stony, and places, there's just there's a lot of pretty rough stuff down there.
Yeah,
And we got another one in. He's blading around Hall right now. We've made it out to the reservoir and we're heading out past, but down by Big Knolls and in those areas.
Yeah, no frost bites are bad, huh?
They are,
Whew.
yeah. When I leave here, I'm gonna go meet with Brad Key,
Now,
and
he called, I
Yeah.
remember.
we're gonna,
for the cattle guard.
yeah, for the airport. And he wants to, we're gonna put the cattle guard in, we've all decided it's gonna be a 20-foot cattle guard. And he'd also like to put in, 16-foot gates, 2 8-foot gates, and maybe two 10-footers, in my opinion. If you're gonna put in 8s, you might have to put in 10s. So some of that heavier equipment, if the fighters do come, they wouldn't have to cross the cattle guard, they could go around it.
Oh,
And that's probably a pretty good idea, So,
save on everything, really.
yeah, I think so. But it might as well make it 20 feet wide as well, for,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause they bring that big fuel truck and stuff in, they did
Yeah.
last year.
You know how it is when you go around them corner, God, you need all the room you can possibly
Right.
get.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So we're gonna meet with him, and I guess that's what we'll do. But, we'll get the gates and the post and all that stuff, but that's just gonna have to be an added thing that comes out of the airport money, not the road money,
Yep.
But we'll worry with that when we deal with it when it comes. But. Other than that,
So what's this, from this Chad?
it's from the tower they wanted to put up, rent property from up on the ship by the shop.
Oh, for the cell tower?
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's just a deal saying that why they can't do it now.
okay.
So that's off the table.
There you are. Okay.
Because of the airport. They never won't, yeah, they won't let them, it's in the plane.
Yeah. Alright,
I just brought that in so you guys could see it from the view was, so. That would have been a nice thing,
Yeah.
800 a month for 9 years,
yeah.
Sam's good to go.
huh?
Sam's good to go.
Oh, yeah, it's good to go, so if you want him tomorrow, you can come tomorrow.
That's funny, I just talked to Sam, and what I thought we'd do is, if it's good with you guys, to start on the 1st of April.
Okay. Well, that's what, cause isn't, one of the employees taking vacation
Yeah,
first part of April there?
well, you got that other stuff going on too.
Yeah,
But that way you get him, I can start him right now, but if we start him at the 1st of April, then it starts as a full month,
right. Birthday.
But if you guys are good with them going, I'll get them going. What would you rather do?
Whatever if you need them, or April 1st work, that's fine with me.
First
So,
Okay,
ordinance.
that's only,
next week,
Is
isn't
it?
it?
Oh,
yeah, middle of next week, right?
It's just on road and bridge.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Yeah,
And he was good with starting on the 1st, so
Yeah.
I'd like to start him on that if that's good.
that's fine with
You
you
guys,
Maybe you guys get him up there, let get his paperwork all done.
He's got it all done.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
as far as he knows. And if the the back, they were just waiting on the
It all
background.
came back, Miranda.
So that
Let me know
means
what's for it.
you'd be good. So county can start on Monday, I mean, Wednesday.
Yeah, just like, well,
I won't be here next week, I'll be at Macker's,
Oh, right.
and, Jim's going with me over there.
Okay.
So,
Right.
I would just, what's Wednesday of next week?
the
Oh,
first.
April 1st. April Fool's
Are we
Day.
cool on?
I guess we'll just be blading for the next couple of weeks then, huh?
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
all the bad spots anyways.
I could have probably took another guy with me over there, but, Chris had a little interest in it, but we've never ever took anybody on the first year that they've worked here.
Yeah.
Make sure they're gonna stay first.
Right.
Other than that, that's about all I got.
Alright. Got anything else?
Who's new guy? Besides Sam? Bruce?
Clark,
Or?
he started about that.
Good, yeah.
And we've got the water truck all welded up
No,
and
yeah,
backs, and I will start getting the tank stuff put back on that, and. So we're rolling a little with the sun anyway.
oh,
This is Blaine. Do you guys wanna talk about the snowplow incident or the grader incident or? Let the insurance take care of it.
yeah. is
We
there
get the-
any update or-
Well, we're, talked to the highway patrolman and he thought that she shouldn't be passing there, but he didn't. I didn't write anyone a ticket, so. She called me, Mr. Burdine yesterday, and was adamant it was the county fault, so, I didn't. Debate or anything. But the highway patrolman and the insurance, you know.
So does the highway patrolman stand by his decision? He gave her a warning, but he could have
He
issued.
said
a
he'd get
ticket.
into that, said he'd get into his report. He did say the painted lines were kind of painted, but they're still there, so. Yeah. But she's not gonna let she's not gonna let it die, so, you know.
She's gonna fight with him, and another thing on that is, like I emailed yesterday was, it wasn't just passing a truck, it was passing a piece of heavy equipment, it was the grader, it wasn't a truck, which is twice as bad as a truck.
The trooper mentioned that she'd wait until the grader pulls over.
So, I don't know.
We'll see.
So-
That's gonna be another one where you're not gonna have a lot of control over what Mako does. but
Well, so this is up to Mako whether or not they choose.
They're gonna have the
to-
final, say.
we wanna stay in touch with them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we just need to back off.
No, I think it should be on their record anyway too, that whether right or wrong, we believe that he was in the right. And she shouldn't have been passing, just so that when that does come on and say, well, you had this on your insurance, and that's one reason why it's going up, you can say, well, no, that, you know, it shouldn't have been. For all it's worth.
Public comment for Paul?
Chelsea and Richmond, I got a little bit lost. Was there a decision made about gates and cattle guards at the airport? If so, which airport?
The one in Drummond.
Drummond Airport? And was there a motion and a decision made?
It's been going on for a year.
Yeah.
We gave the approval to it when Donovan was here. Go ahead, Bruce.
And that's just,
Maintenance.
that's maintenance, that's not a significant public interest for the, yeah,
Thank you.
I was trying to think, was I gonna ask something? Can't remember.
That Sunshine Road, we're really looking at redesign on that.
Yeah, I think it's just probably blade season now.
We're gonna leave the wing on for, another couple of weeks. We're going up there, we're not jumping that quick.
Alright. Yeah, just do what you do, I guess,
Yeah,
hit the bad spots and then do it all over again.
round and round and round.
Alright,
All right, good enough.
Can I
That's
ask an opinion from the county attorney before we go to our next agenda item?
Sure.
Mr. County Attorney,
Yes.
we had public comment earlier, and my question to you is, does the town council have a person that's elected on the town council, do they have the same rights as a person who is elected in a county position, where if someone, they're asked to resign, or someone, where they have to do due process and get a petition for a recall? Would that be the same
Well,
thing?
We're, there was a case where a town council person was removed, for cause by the council. And Judge DeHood upheld or Judge Dayton upheld that. I'm not aware of the same statute for the county commission.
So on that answer that you gave me concerning the commission, where does the commission have the right to decide that one commissioner is not worthy of holding office? Wouldn't that be the recall petition from the voters?
Yeah, I'm not aware of the statutory authority that gives the other two commissioners power to remove the third.
Thank you.
For cause or for any cause.
I did not prepare you guys for me being here. Can I speak? Hopefully it won't be.
sure.
I didn't mean right now, but I just
Oh.
wanted you to know I was hoping I could speak a little bit.
Okay,
Concerns the hospital.
oh, okay,
My name is Carol Blowers.
yeah, you can speak right now in between, you can go ahead right now before we go into our next
You want
agenda
me to
item.
speak now?
No, that's fine. You're good.
Oh. You can come up there, Carol.
Morning.
Here? Yeah, you're, okay.
That way we can hear you.
You can make me nervous. How you doing? My husband George is in the rest home up there. He's been there for a year and a half. And it's very hard for me to come here and talk about it because there is so much good up there. The aides, the cooks, the cleaners, they're outstanding. They've taken great care of George. But they have some people there that are not outstanding. And they've made my life miserable. I'll be 86 this summer. And if nothing else, they could have a little respect for me. And my bill up there this month, the last 2 months was $8,495. We pay that. I pay that out of our savings. We don't qualify for other. And it's tough. When it's gone, it's gone. But I have to say what they've done for him is great. When he went in October of 24. His doctor was Mike Caldwell in Missoula. And, you know, he was falling down all the time. Hard to get somebody to come to help me get him up. I couldn't get him up. I 5'12" and weighed 96 pounds. And so I took him up there. He'd been going up, they have like a babysitting program. And he'd been going up so I could shop and do some things. And he was open to it. He's still not really too loopy. He's just can't get around. And that worked out okay. So the last time he failed, he had to go to St. Pat's, and he had like a bruise on his butt that had 3 cups of blood in it. You know, he was a wreck. And so I took him up here and everything was good. And he was set up for hernia operation in Missoula. But George was down to 146, and he usually weighed 230 or something. And he suggested we put that off till he gained some weight and got a little more strength. So we did, and then they had 2 new people came. Michelle, I keep wanting to call her.
One thing, I wouldn't mention names in here in open meeting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that, anyway,
Yeah,
he
okay.
was kind of the head dude.
Okay,
And then, she had a director of nursing that was outstanding. Anyway, she got him set up at Anaconda, which was great, because he only had to go, 30 miles instead of 100 to Missoula. And he was in a lot of pain, so, I picked up the mail and I was opening a letter from Missoula Surgical with a refund check from the surgery he had been set up for earlier. And while I'm reading this, the phone rings and it's the girl from the Missoula Surgical Center wanting to know what is going on. George's, I didn't know he had a doctor up there, but anyway, I guess he did. She called and set up a surgical date there. And she was totally confused anyway. So I called down there and I spoke to the nice gal. And as she was speaking to me, this other person grabbed the phone from her and just started screaming. It was incredible, totally unprofessional. And I hadn't done a dang thing but open the letter and answer the phone. And she slammed the phone down. And so I called this other gal back and we started to talk, and this second one took it away from her again and just again started screaming and hollering at me. So I called the girl in Missoula and I said, I think we're going to Anaconda. She said, that's great. One of our surgeons is now up there and he's excellent. And so we left it at that. And I decided I'd go, I couldn't seem to talk to them on the phone. So they have a Monday morning meeting at 8 o'clock that I found out that they were having. And I told them I was coming. And I went to that meeting and there was about 12 or 15 of them there, kind of a little cliquish group. And they all sat there like this and stared at me. And I said, well, I believe in looking you guys in the eye and asking you what the heck I did wrong to deserve this kind of treatment. And so I don't do it again. I had no idea what the heck I had done. And not one person said a word. They all sat there like this. And so George came and it was emotional for him. And I finally figured out what I had done. I had called my brother, who just, Blanche, I'm sure, talked with Donnie a lot over our tax issue. And I said, he's retired. I said, Donnie, what do I do? He said, well, there should be a number for you to call. And it's in the lunchroom, right on the corner there. He said, I've got one, because he worked with a lot of estates and people that have problems. And he said, call that number, they can tell you what you could do to, and I ended up doing that, but I hadn't done it yet. I hadn't done it till after I spoke with him and saw I was going nowhere. And I'm sorry, I only have 2 kitties and 2 dogs to talk to now, so I ramble. So you have to shut me up if you need to, but nothing, I didn't go to them for quite a while. And the aides were great. They tried to be friendly to me, but the rest of them looked at the floor when they walked by me and ignored me. And it's been that way ever since. And I saw where that Jesse, whatever, he's a radiologist, and I called Scott and asked who he was. He had come forth at a meeting a couple times ago. And I visited with him. I thought I was the only one that had the problem, but apparently not. So I called the girl that sorry about using names, And I gave her the names of the rest homes. I'll be moving George. I just can't live under this stress. First, my age, I'm lucky to still be motoring around. And, you know, it's tough. I've got 5 acres. The week after George went in, our roof cap blew off and I had to have a new roof. The washer overfilled and flooded the basement. I mean, it was like, good grief, what's next? And before George went, he had that little black truck he had ladders on it. Everybody knew him. And he got out to open the gate. And I think he left it in gear. It went across the 5 acres, across the street from us, across the next road and down through a fence in another yard. And, you know, I knew he's a very stubborn man and very gonna do his thing. And I knew that he wasn't right, but yet he was still roofing, if you can believe this. And, anyway, Jeff Kahn was at Hogan's when George was at the post office, and he fell out of his truck and he was half in and half out. And they came over from Hogan's to help him. But nobody told me. They didn't want to bother me with it. But so anyway, he's there now, and it's a beautiful facility. It's clean. My parents were in Village and you had to put a clothespin on your nose. Well, they have 190 some patients, but this is an outstanding facility with wonderful, most of them are local people, but now they're bringing in people from Florida, from Georgia, and that might work in a hospital scene, but these old people, they get so confused with new people helping them every couple days. And they're all nice. I can't gripe about that. It's just there's the few at the top that have made my life miserable, maybe others. But something has to be done there. I don't know who owns it or anything about it, but you know, Brad knows I've been through all kinds of stuff.
So, yeah, sorry that's happened. That's not right.
It's been one thing.
One of the reasons why I support it up there is the nursing home. The, Doris Gilbertson is now the interim CEO, so they have a new CEO.
That takes over.
Brian is already, he was, yeah, so Doris is already the CEO right now. So you could talk to potentially her about the issue. It is a hospital district, so the only, authority the county has is over the facilities. The county leases the facilities to the hospital district. But you're pointing out some good issues that need taken care of up there, and that Doris Gilbertson needs to hear that.
I hope
That's
so,
all right.
because they're losing all their good health. When that happened to me, a girl, you know, like 5 or 7 people quit, and they were the best people there. They're so kind. And I failed to tell you, when they take George down for his shower, he wears glasses, hearing aids, and he had his watch on, but the hearing aids weren't on. We never found his glasses. They never came back. His watch came back. All there was the back, you know, it was about as thin as a piece of paper. And so I asked the lady that said, whatever her title is, and she said, that's not our responsibility. So I've had to buy new glasses. And I will say that the old CEO did buy him a watch, which he's kind of been there for George. He's like, George, isn't there any guys around here? You know, and he likes Ron Ham. But they say Ron's not good enough to take care of him. So, you know, and he speaks loud, so that's why he likes Ron, because he can hear him. I just hate complaining. I've put this off. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, and it's not right that they treat the health like they do and treat me like, I mean, if nothing else, the money, I'm a pretty good paying customer and I'm old. So, you know, one of these days I'm gonna be in there with George if I But I will move him. I don't want to. I don't want to move. I want to keep my, I'm trying to keep my kitties and dogs alive as long as I can. And I love it up here. We knew a lot of people before we moved here, and we've lived here 22 years. And I sold real estate for 25 years. I was a broker, had an office in Lincoln. Worked for Don Dallas out of Helena. I've been there and done it, I've had people chase me with guns, you name it, in Lincoln. The Unabomber was our neighbor, he lived next door to us. And so this morning, I really hadn't intended to come, but I decided, I worry about George when I do this. Not from the aides, none of them. They are the most wonderful people, and they're so good with George. And he's been good, thank God. I said, did he pinch any butts or, has he been nodding that way? And he really hasn't, I guess. But when he first went, Roger, and he'd been going to Roger for years, because he's had both knees replaced and a hip. 3 times a week, maybe, Roger and, Andrea, I think, I'm sorry. They would walk with him and work with him. He never gets out of bed now. I asked her, I said, I'll pay extra. Get him up, this is hard on this. He was still working at 78. And she said, we don't have the money. And even I offered. And he's got a great roommate now that has a foot cut off, but mentally he's good. Am I holding, it said 3 minutes, I'm saying. Yeah, so that would happen.
You're fine.
Get to meow, understand, yeah. So anyway, guys,
So one thing too, Carol, the commission's meeting with the hospital folks here in a week or two, so bring these things up to them.
Yeah,
okay,
Keep
I-
in touch,
Yeah.
just keep in touch and I'll let you know.
what that's not,
Just keep in touch and I'll let you know when the meeting.
okay, yeah, cause when I called the computer up today, it said the 25th. The meeting was, today's the 24th. So I called your office, Brad, and they said, well, he's going, so I figured it's a typo.
So there's actually a hospital district board meeting here, let me see when that is, up at the conference room across the street, the conference center, there's a hospital district meeting, that is.
Tonight, isn't it?
Yeah,
Tonight,
5:30.
Well, you guys, it is a beautiful place, and beans you have, the cooks are excellent, but these people are all local, like little Joanne, lives here, and Andreas doesn't, obviously, she's from Cuba or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere south, but she's great, they're great people.
It's
And-
5:30 tonight up at the conference center is the hospital district meeting, but they're also gonna meet with the county commission here in a week or two, I'm not sure. when that-
Okay, well, I don't know if I can handle 2 meetings in a day.
this will be later tonight, and then when they come here, it'll be a couple weeks, Carol, I'll get a hold of you.
Okay, I appreciate
You come
that. As long as I've stepped out to do this, I've always heard the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I don't wanna get greased.
No, that's good that you're saying, because, yeah, they
I'll
need to
be,
get things changed around up there.
I'll be in touch with you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys. I haven't really, I retired when I moved here and George went to work and, so I haven't really gotten involved. But it hurts me to see these people hurting and it hurts me to have to move George to Missoula. But I'll sell my property. My kids are there and in the Bitterroot, so there's no place like this little rest home. So
Just keep in touch, you got my number too, don't be afraid. to
I'm
call.
sure I do. I got it from somebody to call you.
I'll be
You're
in
the
touch.
only name I knew. His dad and my first husband went to high school together, so. Like Scott, when he was a twinkle in his dad's eye. Anyway, thank you guys, and thank you, Blanche. I never got to talk to you because my brother kind of took over. We never solved the thing. our $96 is still somewhere in your system. So anyway, I guess I got $96 worth of talking. Thank you, yeah.
All right, move on to gravel bid openings. You stamp these, too, right? First one is from T3 Rock Productions. And they're at, $13.50 per yard for 3/4 minus. Bolster.
Yeah, we can just attach the envelope to the actual bid.
Next one is from Bob Weaver. And it's $13 per yard for 3/4. One is from Carl Nelson Ranch Company. So let's see, they got $12.50 per yard. If we load it with our loader, or $14 per yard if they load it. Next one is 348 Gravel Company. $13.50 a yard. Next one is from F&R LLC. They're at $10.50 a yard. That's it for bids, sorry.
Who is the last one?
F&R.
That's
Mazis.
man, I thought.
Well, now we'll, I guess we'll go ahead and accept all bids and then we'll start figuring out what we're gonna do. And what the money looks like and where the gravel.
Yep.
That'll be up to you to kind of give us a heads up on what we're thinking, and we gotta be really careful doing the money factor. That we got, all can we'll just have Paul look and see and just give us a, say maybe here, maybe there, but we gotta have something paper trail to show where it's going, and then we'll look and see.
Okay, you need to explain that to me because we have people that put in lower bids than other people.
And they'll be the first ones called up here on this end, if we, you look, cause then it
Okay.
saves the haul rate from down, hauling from here down to there. So like the N51, what public, I can say it, just say Tommy be the first one in line. Up here.
For this end of the valley, if we're working on this end of the valley, there's 3 pits here. We use the cheapest bid, and what we do is we also use the closest pit to the road we're working on, especially now where our fuel $4.50 a gallon. We're not gonna truck it. We're gonna truck it as close as we can truck it. That's what we've been doing in the past. And then, like we put the bid up for 15,000 yards, we've already used 3,000 of that up,
Yeah.
you know, so that's just,
We're not even really sure how much money we have left for gravel for this year.
But we need to do something like we've talked, you know, there's gotta be work, but we just now gotta look and see where the most needs it, and then we'll make a plan, but now we have the bid so we can,
Okay, so in other words, the one person is gonna be asked first, and if that person doesn't have the gravel, then we go to the next higher price. Is that what you're saying?
well,
I
it's
don't
showing-
understand.
it's showing that he has the gravel.
They're saying they're gonna give it to us like one's 10.50, one's 12, one's 13, one's 13.50. How do you work that with?
So I think with that bid, they've committed to provide that amount.
Yeah.
I'd be careful accepting all the bids in that you may not be using, but I think using that language of if others are not available, then if they aren't able to provide it, then you would go down the list.
Well, that one from Matt was at the spec chart where he had it tested on the rest of those papers. I didn't quite go all the way through them.
Yeah, he says the specifications of the Montana DOT, required specifications of the DOT, and then, and he sent it all in and what's, we had it done by Pioneer Technical Services, so we have the there, and then the other ones are just coming in.
Just with bids.
Yeah, there was I think when we go to get it, then we can get them just like we made that one do it before, go get a gravel, you know, take a bucket over and make sure it meets the specs.
So everyone has to take a bite.
you'd have to come up with a grade Asian spec to do that, though, you know, you can't, you'd have to say, well, it needs to meet some sort of a spec, and we don't have a spec.
Right,
Well,
off of state spec.
Yeah, we just said state spec and, order.
Yeah, whatever.
That's why I got put in, cause the one that was saying, well, he had to take his stuff over and get it inspected.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's just the way it's. Now we can have it on the agenda and start looking to see for sure where we're gonna go and what we got to spend and how this, you know, we're gonna have to make it work. You know, cause last year we put a whole bunch down there and now we're gonna have to hit these other spots that we jumped over.
Can you explain to me how that should be worded, Blaine?
But I think it should be, the motion would be that the county use the gravel pit that's gonna be cheapest, the county, including fuel. So that would be on a case by case basis on where the gravel is needed. And so then I think that's what the letter should state to each of these
That
companies.
if the lowest bid isn't available, we go to the next bid?
Well,
I don't,
yeah, that you're going with the cheapest bid that's closest to the.
So,
Yeah,
so like,
Mileage.
so like if, you know, like F&R out here is the lowest bid. But if we need like, you know, 100 yards down Lower Rock Creek, we'll probably use like Drummond to go, cause it's quick, it's cheaper on fuel instead of hauling it all the way from here.
because we're hauling it ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes a difference.
Yeah. That's the big.
Okay. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead, motion person.
I'll go ahead and accept the gravel bids. And use the people, the cheapest one right here, but like you were saying, if we had to go down, and we go to the next one, like the 1250 to go down there. We just gotta really pay attention on where we're going and what we're taking and how much from the money.
Yep.
So most cost effective for location, huh?
Okay, I know, I get it, I get it. I
Yeah,
think that's fair.
Second,
Okay, I'll second.
public comment. Good.
Sorry, can the chairperson restate the motion?
Motion to accept the gravel bids from lowest price with the exceptions of location of roads, 2 gravel pits, and the cost effectiveness of hauling it.
Heck, we could be at $6 a gallon for fuel by the time we start hauling.
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell knows? Now, that has to come into effect of how much can we even do?
Right.
That's what's in on me,
They
this
don't know.
budget's gonna be scary.
the bid notice states that, when you guys are clear that you're gonna be using the one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried back.
Well, if I'm released, may I leave?
Yeah.
All right, see you later. Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll move into solid waste weekly report.
I got a call back from one guy on the fuel tank, I need to go look at it, he didn't know. The problem with buying like a used fuel tank, you don't know what the hell's in there or how much rust and that, you know, and that could cost us thousands of dollars. So, coming down through it, you know, we might be able to, I see they got fuel tanks on sale, smaller ones, like 50-galloners and get an electric pump in this for out here. I guess I'm worried about taking an old tank and then next thing you know, we're fighting fuel problems.
Right.
I've done that before.
And the engine's all done.
Yeah. So we might just have to bite the bullet and get like you can get them 50, 75, 50-gallon tank, and then Bill Antoni said you come fill it. All we have to do is let him know. So we might just get one of them little square 50-gallon tanks, if you guys are okay with it.
Yep.
With a 110 plug in and move on. Is that all right?
It's fine with me.
That is just a maintenance thing.
Yeah, we just can't get a barrel on them
Right.
tanks have just been sitting and,
Yeah.
all that.
Oh, yeah, there's no
Burn up and, we all got,
Oh, yeah.
So would it be feasible to do one down in, Drummond also?
he just runs down, cause it's only 2 blocks, and he runs down, fuels it like once every other week. He just drives down there and pumps it in. I mean, you could, but then
Does he do it on his time or our time?
this time. Oh, it's probably our time when we running down there.
Okay.
He did on a tank, cause then he gets depth and everything else at one time, then it goes.
So you're just looking at just a slip tank then, right?
Yeah, I think I was in a
tank.
50-gallon one or whatever, we don't need 100, cause then it sits there,
Right.
get 50 and Paul said, or Bill said he'd take care of it.
So I'll get one from it.
Okay, I think that's just easy to get a 110 so you plug it into share.
And, Todd's, report here, he said that, was it this last Sunday that the fire department burned grass or this upcoming Sunday? Then,
Right, television coming up this weekend.
Mike Lee from the fire department did contact me and was talking about burning the grass around the, burn pile, just to kind of have a barrier around it for when the application does come in, that we can burn, so.
Well, on that note, it all depends on, we get more wind than we've ever, it's like they get 40 today, I mean. It sucks, we get the moisture, but then right behind it comes the wind, and I mean, that hill out here, that thing will take off. We might end up just sitting on it, no more debris comes in too, right? Yeah,
We'll get it dumping again before It really seemed like we
It'd
get,
be nice if we got dumped on, then the guy could just go ahead and I guess we'll have to talk to Ashley, just keep up on that. So if we did get dumped on, we'd
yeah, I did talk to her. It was either Thursday or Friday, I came in, cause Mike got a hold of me and I was like, I'll double check and blah, blah, but. It's still, there's nothing, they're just waiting on DEQ to send an email back to say, go ahead, and, cause everything's in. So. Alright, any public comment for solid waste? Alright, we'll move into dam tenders report. We're currently at 64.2873 or 9.24 inches below full pool. Well, we're at last week, 11.06
10.32.
or 10.32.
yeah.
Well, I wasn't here last week, that's on the computer, that's why. So we gained an inch.
I recommend we stay at 10, cause obviously we're making. And we need to get a little more forward, cause we're still in the drought, I say, you know. You look and what Peter and all them, the percentage stuff, and everything, but I don't know.
And if we have super warm and rain, this snow's gonna be gone and then there's gonna be nothing left and it's all gonna wash out.
So 10 still coming in. We know that.
So you're,
We got at
Yeah.
least 10 coming in, it's pretty.
We're matching.
We're matching. So that's what we have to do before we
yeah, you can't go above him.
can't go above. So yeah,
Or
I
10.
make a motion for 10. I'll second it.
Public comment? All in favor? Aye.
Good night.
Didn't see it first, right?
Yep.
That's it. When is it? May 1st or 15th when we open it up to 30?
May 15th, 30,
Is it irrigators?
through October 15th.
Oh,
You know, and if it's one of the years or something, we might, you know, a lot of times they'll come in and give us their, you know, the ranch or that, they maybe just hold off a little bit, so it helps us and fulfill it all this. It's just gonna play it by ear now, every week's gonna be different.
all right, next agenda item is the opioid class action case settlements with Kroger and Walgreens.
So
That is-
good news, yeah, some money's coming in, but it's a few $100s from each. So accepting those settlements and Kroger and Walgreens or payment. And then, down the line, your budget, you could, upcoming year, look at where to spend it. It's gotta be a preventative type program from opioid use. So right now, it's just accepting of that.
Accepting all this.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll entertain a motion to accept. Paperwork from,
I will make a motion. I will make a motion for on the opioid, how do you say that?
Opioid.
Opioid class action settlements with Kroger and Walgreens.
Second.
public comment. All in favor?
I
Aye. Motion carried. There's a sign in this I didn't see. Is there?
Dwayne, would that like come into some kind of county health program? And
Yeah, but I think, there's some monies in there, because we've gotten some other, so some of those monies went to the state opioid trust, and then there's the regions where they give out grants. Then there's some that come in directly to the county. The funding that's coming in direct to the county is very limited, but, there's still some funds in there to be used for programming. So working with Jackie and Deb.
I didn't see anywhere in there, it's just all the stuff we've received.
This is the one with, for, Purdue, the,
Oh, I read the wrong one.
but I believe it was, electronic filing with, Walgreens and Kroger, so if you're good with electric, yeah, doing that.
All right, we're slowly getting closer to being caught up, going to 10 o'clock. And item, county airport board update with recommended, policy. Yes, is. Eric's on. Do you have anything, Jack, or the Derek? Oh, here he comes. All right, go ahead, Eric.
Morning, Commissioners. Eric Anderson, member of the Airport Board. And thanks, Jack, for being there. Don't really have a lot of things to report. Our last meeting ran about 2 hours, which is about 4 times as long as it normally does. And looking at your correspondence that's posted on the Commissioner website, we have one more resignation. So I think we're pretty much down to 3 members at this current time. One of the things you guys asked us to look at is a recommendation for emergency procedures. You know, the airport board typically is not involved in that. And I believe you had 3 organizations, the sheriff, the ambulance, and fire, that were involved in emergency type procedures. And the question was, how do you turn on the lighting in an emergency? The beacon itself is manually turned on right down there at the airport in the breaker box. Not aware of any other way to turn it on. And that would take some special electronics up there at the sheriff's department to be able to turn it on up there. As far as the runway lighting, that lighting control is still available to pilots. And, you know, when they click 3, 5, or 7 times, that changes the intensity of the lighting, and it's on for about 15 minutes and then it shuts off. So whether or not that can be controlled from, say, the sheriff's office, I don't know. The frequency used for doing that is line of sight, and I'm not sure how the line of sight works from the sheriff's office, and that would have to be installed by whatever company they use for monitoring all the different frequencies up there.
Well, Eric, I was kind of wondering, there's gotta be a way to be able to wire the beacon into the runway lights for the click off the radio, don't you think?
I'm sure there is, but that's way beyond my expertise. I believe that our best bet would be to contract with an engineering firm. Previously in the past, we contracted with KLJ. There's another engineering firm out of Helena, RPA, Robert Pesce Associates. They're close by. They're very involved in airport issues. And as far as the ability to do that, I think I would depend on their expertise to advise us, because that's really beyond something that I think the airport board advisory board would be able to give you recommendations on.
Okay, I have a question. Why would we need an engineer for beacon control? Why is there, the engineer has to tell us whether or not we can do it?
You're talking about setting it up remotely.
Set it up.
Yeah.
Setting it up? What do you mean?
For remote access to turn the
I
light
mean,
on.
why do you have to have an engineer to set it up for remote?
Or-
Well, there are federal regulations regarding how you turn a beacon on. And there are restrictions. In other words, pilots aren't allowed to turn on or turn off beacons. Who can and who can't? I can't advise you on that.
Well,
And
shouldn't
these
it-
engineering firms that deal with aviation issues, they would probably have the expertise to let you know.
Well, when they put that in, there should be something in the paperwork showing. We shouldn't have to spend a bunch of money on an engineer. Should show what wire it in, like, I'm just using this like home, wire it in so it comes from there, then have somebody.
Okay, my comment is, right here is, okay, we decided that, and this was a decision that was made, that emergency use for night landing. We've also visited with the sheriff's office, and I think this is where we need to go, is to work with the sheriff's office. If they get a call, if they need the beacon, they can go down and flip the switch at the airport.
That or even have a remote over
And
here.
that's what I'm saying, but he's saying they need an engineer for a remote.
I think I looked into what the tower is and checked in on it. Instead of paying Tim.
So we're gonna, I assume we're just gonna take these one issue at a time and discuss and come to some sort of resolution, hopefully. So, is what we talked about, I did review Wayne's emergency procedures that he wrote up. They look good. I wouldn't change anything on there. The only thing we were talking about is that the beacon runway light operation, which I think if the sheriff's office is handling it, they need the ability to turn it on remotely and or manually, both. That's the wording that we talked about in the board meeting.
I agree.
So, and at the very bottom, of the, ordinance plan, I think you had, I don't know if it was manual or remote, you had one of them, and I would just add either or. And that's what we talked about. Now, the means to do it, we're talking about, Eric's talking about an engineer to get in there. We just have to figure out how to do it, whether that's an electrician or an engineer or somewhere in between both of those, we have to figure that out.
I totally agree with you, Jack. That's why I was mentioning, have an electrician look at get the paperwork on this and then, get a home or somebody, I'm just, but somebody that understands how to wire it in and how to remote it in.
And of course, we've talked about who can control it. According to the FAA, their stipulation is that a pilot shouldn't be able to control the beacon. It says nothing in there about someone else remotely controlling the beacon like an emergency organization. So that's kind of where we are with that.
I'll research that issue, and then I think once we get that settled, potentially it could be a electrician if they're,
But sooner or later,
the expertise.
sooner or later, you're gonna have to have an electrician look at it.
Oh, yeah.
So why pay,
$100,000.
Yeah.
But the operational aspect of it, as far as the ordinance that Blaine wrote up, we didn't make a motion to recommend that ordinance as it was written. Our only motion was to just change it to add either have manual and remote both in there, so we have both options. If one fails, you have to always be able to go on and have someone who knows how to turn it on manually if the remote fails, so.
I do too.
Okay, so you've already written up safety reasons how you can do this. Do we have a copy of that, or
Well,
are we waiting for?
yeah, to Danford, I can, make those changes and present to the commission. Also on the ordinance, need to have the, notice run in the paper twice, so we're probably not looking at getting the ordinance on for, be on for initial discussion, but for the readings of it, 2 readings would probably be, later in April.
Yeah.
I think that's the way we're sound, get everything lined out and we move ahead.
Yep. I think so. And then did you guys come up with any recommendations for how many members of board do you guys want, 5 or 7?
We did.
My feeling was the consensus was we would leave the bylaws as they were written, where we had the option of either 5 or 7. If you count up the number of resignations that we've had in the last 4 months, 5 months, probably about 5 different resignations. So I think having a good representation from the aviation community and the Phillipsburg community itself could leave us pretty balanced and cover our bases, so that everybody is being heard and all concerns are being addressed. Right now, I think we only have 3 members on the board.
Eric, I thought we had 4 because we have Brad Radke, yourself, myself, and Ben currently. That's 4, right?
Who is the last one?
Brad down in Anaconda. Is he
Yes.
resigned?
Drummond.
Oh, Drummond, sorry.
He lives right by there, but his wife does the mowing and stuff.
Dave is the one who just resigned, correct, Eric?
Dave Lee, yep. Just
Right.
resigned. That's his
Ben
resignation.
Rooks, Eric Anderson, Jack Foster.
Yeah, we have 4 currently.
And my thoughts on that, you either gotta have 5 or 7, you can't have 6 because you can end up in a tie on anything. Correct?
We got another application in.
Yeah.
Another one beyond the 3 that you already have?
Yep.
Who's the 4th one?
Jim Graff.
Okay, so you guys have 3 currently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two
but we'll get to that at 10:30, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Eric can comment on this if I'm off base a little, but our comment was to keep our recommendation is to keep the number of board members the same, based on the bylaws, which says 5 or 7. And, there was stipulation in there that it said board members should be, residents of the county. And, we kind of talked about this. If we go past 5, there's some leeway there, but if you go past 5, 6 and 7 should be residents. If they're non-residents, there's no need to go past 5. But if you have enough people, and because we know based on your comments, we all need board members on all the boards. If you have 7 and they're members of the residents of the county, as long as they're approved by you guys, that would be fine.
But yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes we've had to, out of necessity, have non-residents, but yeah, the rule is residency, and the exception, if you can't, it's by necessity would be the exception. One thing with the bylaws, they were approved, is my understanding, but I don't have a signed copy, so if the airport board could get a signed copy, if you do that at your next meeting, and then present those to the commission, that would be helpful, so we have a fully executed copy.
So I will say this, and then we can talk about the other items. We are having an emergency meeting on the 1st of April, because we couldn't decide on some of the things that we just need to move forward on. So we're gonna have a meeting coming up next week. And then we're gonna hold our monthly meeting. As far as the bylaws go, I know there were some changes submitted by Eric. And it looked like it was wording changes where, Blaine will probably have to look at it, but it looked like it was more legal wording, like where it was like a should instead of a can, like just words that were changed. I had another comment about the bylaws, that I'll have to come back to. It was kind of, this idea was thrown out by myself, and there was mixed, it wasn't a motion again, but there were mixed opinions on it, where in the bylaws, it's got airport all over the bylaws. My recommendation was it should be changed to airfield because that's what it is. And it should say that through the bylaws, and it was a mixed vote. You know, we couldn't come to a consensus on that. As well as if there are recommendations from the board passed on to you guys. I feel based on, as Eric stated, a mix of, residents, people who have minimal airfield experience, as well as pilots. You know, we have a good mix on the board, and that's what we should be striving to. There's gonna be mixed votes on motions. And you know, that'll be in our minutes, so any motion that passes or gets denied will be forwarded on to you guys with, you know, hey, this got passed by a 4-3, this got denied by a 5-2. So you guys will have all that information going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, even if it's 3-2, but you gotta, there's gotta be a motion made and
Yep.
and move forward.
Okay, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano. I was at the meeting, the last meeting, the March 18th meeting, and there were a number of things that were brought up. And first of all, I want to thank, I think it was Jack, who mentioned the April 1st meeting. It wasn't an emergency meeting. I believe it was called a special meeting, and to discuss the details. Listening to this, I checked earlier to find out if the minutes were put up, the airport board meeting on the 18th. Last I checked, they weren't uploaded, the draft. Listening to the conversation, it's like what I remember, I think we did this. Well, David Lee, who was the secretary at that meeting, actually typed in what was discussed, what they decided, right on the agenda. So it is available. And that should be uploaded, or at least whoever's reporting, I guess it's Eric that's reporting about the meeting, or it could be Jack, I don't know. It was through memory. And the commissioners have no document to refer to. Nobody does. So the conversation, who's on first, who's on second, who knows? And that was also discussed to a certain degree at that meeting, how the commissioners weren't aware of something, then they were aware, and the airport committee board, they didn't know, because there's too much discussion going on by email, one-on-one, and nobody keeps track of what's going on. These were all brought up at that meeting. So yes, there is a special meeting, and a request was kind of discussed that maybe a commissioner should be present. 3, 2 would be a quorum, 1 isn't. So this way, 1 can report back to the commissioners exactly what took place. Same thing earlier with the hospital district. 1 commissioner to attend their board meetings is fine. It's not a quorum. And by the way, looking back, that was what was done when Mike Cahill was the administrator, and before we got a certain commissioner who decided to stop it. There was, you want to call an ex officio at each board and committee meeting who gave a report back to the commissioners as a whole. So everybody was on the same base. So maybe one of you should be at the April 1st meeting where all these loose ends get tied up. Thank you.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yes, Commissioners, Eric Anderson for the record. David Lee did submit a draft copy, and I saw that that was also sent to Miranda along with the board members. And I did have a couple of edits that I submitted to David. David made those corrections. I didn't see that those corrected minutes went out to all the board members, and whether or not it was forwarded on to Miranda, I don't know. But the minutes were forwarded to the commission, and you should be able to find them. If not, I'm sure I can send them out to you again. Also, Blaine, I'd be happy to send you the edits that I made to the bylaws, and you can kind of take a look at that. You probably have more expertise in bylaws. Jack also had those recommendations that he had for the edits, and I'll forward those to you too. And I think we can move forward from there. You can see how it can be difficult sometimes to stay on track with these meetings with a lot of input. But anyway,
So, yeah.
we'll continue to do our best.
Yep, that sounds good. If you want to email them to me and take a look at them, then I'll get you back my thoughts, and then that could be on your next agenda, whether it's the special meeting or the regular meeting. So an emergency meeting would be one that's potentially emergency arises, and then you have one that's basically you're not noticing, but yeah, you're talking about a special meeting where you're noticing it and so forth. The
Do you mind?
yeah, go ahead.
As far as the meeting minutes, Elena, thanks for your comments. And we kind of discussed this with, Justine made some comments about the commissioners' minutes. So we had our meeting on the 18th, I think that was the right date. And those minutes do not get approved until next month. So they don't get released to anyone. They were released, internally, so we can review and add. And I think going forward, we've made strides to record those meetings. They're being recorded, and one of the board members, maybe, the new chair, which hasn't been voted on yet, probably should get with Miranda to, I know it's an easy procedure, just transcribe the minutes from AI instead of what Elena was commenting on, having the agenda and having just notes updated on the agenda all the time, because that really isn't official minutes. I know the Dave Lee had given his notice to resign a verbal like 3 months ago, and finally did resign. He's doing his best to get those minutes updated, but.
And Miranda's been working with Dave for the last couple of months.
So there will be procedures put in place. I think we can only improve on getting the minutes, but we're not meeting every week. So there's going to be a longer gap between those minutes being approved and then put into record.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's probably why Miranda doesn't have the updated one, because if they're sending her the final ones, then that'd be next month.
We also talked about one of the commissioners being on one of the board meetings, like on a quarterly basis, once every 3 months, someone pop in, be in a meeting. Again, that hasn't been decided, if we're gonna make that recommendation or not. So we're working through a lot of things.
I got it. Go ahead, Derek.
Hold on, let me get my camera on here. Yeah, Derek Campbell. A couple points from the airport meeting. I attended as a prospective member of the board and also a concerned citizen. Anyway, the special meeting is basically to decide, because there were only 3 or 4 members, that were still on the board. It was to figure out the next agenda item on your guys' schedule is to see who else is going to be on the board. That special meeting is to figure out who's going to serve in the different capacities on the board. So it's kind of chasing our tail here a little bit, but that is the purpose of that meeting. I'm not sure if there will be other things discussed there, but that was the main gist of that As far as the working off the minutes from this most recent meeting, I think if decisions are being made, those decisions need to be relayed. And I think working off whether they're approved or not minutes, to at least use that as our checklist to inform the commission of what was decided at the meeting. I don't think there should be an issue with that. That way things are being relayed clearly and going off of what should be the official record of what was decided at the airport board meetings, instead of just kind of going by, well, we kind of discussed this and this was sort of the decision. So those are my inputs on that. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, yeah, the hospital district has a chair to their board, and regular updates from the CEO are good. So whether the commissioner attends or not, it's those updates you're getting are important. Same with the airport as well. But yeah, they recommend once a quarter or something. That may be
We did also talk about, the Tuesday after our board meeting for one of the airport board members to be here and go over any items that were discussed, any recommendation that we have. And of course, those won't be, the minutes wouldn't have been approved by then, but we could get in here and discuss things while they're still fresh, and it's only been 5 or 6 days since we've discussed them. So I know Eric's here regularly, I'm here fairly regularly, so someone will be here to go over our meeting the next Tuesday.
That'd be good to have updates, and that's what we've been asking the hospital district to do too, is come in once a month or something just to give us updates, so.
that could be a regular agenda item
Yeah.
after the Tuesday after their regular meeting
Yeah.
or any meeting.
For sure.
Board officers and board members. Next topic.
Yep,
So-
we're good with that one, yeah, we can roll right into the 10:30 or.
Well,
oh,
before-
yeah, I saw that, never mind, yep, go ahead.
So there was, we didn't make any, there were no decisions, no motions on, making anyone chair, vice chair, secretary. It's still in discussion, and I think part of that is because, you know, there's been so many resignations, more than half if we go to 7 members, more than half the board is gonna be brand new, and, you know, that's what we're meeting about, like Derek said, on the 1st of April.
Was you kind of waiting to see how many applied, and then you guys will take it back, we'll give you who applied for it, and then you go back and you'll make chairman, vice, and all that.
I think the board knows who applied already, you know, the 3 people you have, you know, we have 4, there's 3 that applied. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, I think there wasn't a recommendation to accept any of the applications. However, when we reviewed, everyone got a chance to review all the applications. I know Jim Grassi also had a resume that went with it. And you know, based on our conversation, the board was okay with the commissioners reviewing those and accepting. And we can talk about that next, but that's where we stood after the meeting.
I think this plan, I think that's a good point on, getting the, full board in place and then deciding upon those issues. I'd even say have that draft resolution, or ordinance on there too, so if anyone else has any thoughts on that. So,
Yeah, I understand that meeting on the 1st is solely for
okay,
the,
so at the next regular meeting, it should be brought up. Yeah, they're limiting the scope there to the.
yeah, it won't be, if there's public comments or anything off topic as far as the board members go, that's on the April 15th meeting.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can just leave him open the whole time, and just talk when he wants to, yeah.
Yeah, Eric Anderson here. I've only seen one of the three current applicants' applications come through. It would be nice to see all of them. We did have a chance to chat with everybody, and I think everybody is well qualified. But it would be nice, and I personally have not seen them. I have requested multiple times to get those applications and to all the board members so that everybody has a chance to see them. And I just have not seen at least two of them.
And is that policy, Blaine, I'll ask you, if, does the airport board need to review applications, make a recommendation, or the applications get forwarded and the commissioners just decide based on board vacancies?
Well, I mean, it's up to the commission. I think generally they want the recommendation, but I think also they want to probably move forward too. So I guess it's weighing if you want to wait or not, because that's gonna delay getting,
Right.
They're hoping to have that April 1st meeting be the
one.
the restructuring, recommending the officers. So I'd say that, it's given a recommendation on officers and bring that to the commission and the manager. And then they'll be ready to go on April 15th.
Yeah, 'cause I think typically like how it's gone in the past, is like if someone was interested on the board or whatever, they'd talk to one of the board members or something, and then they would kind of really relay that info to us. But as who they recommend, but yeah, if anyone wants to apply, they can just come right to us and we get the application and we say yay or nay right then and there. I think it's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scott, you can pass.
Are we in the next agenda item now? Or is that what we're talking about?
We're not quite.
The airport board applications?
We're good on all these other ones. We can move on to the airport board.
Well, I guess one more question on the ordinance. You want me to make those proposed changes and email it out to the airport board? I don't have, I think I have all the emails. I'll send it out for all the
Yeah,
board
then
members.
they can move ahead too, because if we don't, we're sitting and waiting another week. This way they can move ahead with that manual or,
Yeah.
you know.
And us
stuff like
too.
that.
And then what did the commission want to do on the issue of the beacon? You wanted to hold off on that for right now, or you wanted to the issue with the beacon and having the, well, I was gonna research the issue of who can turn it on, but also you're gonna look at.
Well, if you could look and see who can turn on, but I think we need to keep moving, otherwise it just keeps getting waylaid, and if we can get it manual or automatic, you know.
Okay, my opinion is on that beacon things, because we made the decision that the beacon is not going to be on unless there's an emergency. That would mean that we need to make sure that someone can turn that beacon on. So right now, because of the fact don't have remote, we need the sheriff's office to be able to go out there if an airport board member can't go out there and turn the beacon on if there's an emergency. So that needs to be resolved right now, is my opinion.
Well, I think if it's an emergency, it won't be a board member. It will be the sheriff's department to turn it on, not a board member.
Cause it'll come to 911, it'll save the big middleman.
So here's one of the, some information that Eric gave us. He had a timeline on what it takes for a pilot who's got an emergency, because there's no direct contact. They're not monitoring the frequency, the sheriff's department not monitoring that frequency. What it's gonna take for them to, send out I guess a distress call and get back and get someone down there manually. And it's gonna, I think it was, and Eric can correct me, but I think it was like 25 to 35 minutes is what it would, an average of what it would take to get someone manually. Now, having someone at the sheriff's office remotely turn on the beacon and the runway lights would cut off 20 minutes of that.
And we need to do that.
If we at all possible, that would be step one. And if it's not working, someone needs to hustle down there and flip it on manually.
And I think for like right now, we need to get the sheriff's department to know where to go turn that on. Meet with one of you board members to show where they go to turn that on, and then as we keep going, to look into that remote deal and get that after. But right now, we still need someone, the sheriff's department, to be able to go down and turn it on if needed.
So you prefer that someone that airport board representative meets with the sheriff and.
Right.
Yeah, cause then, you know, then he can get with the different deputies, everybody be on the same page.
And maybe that's an opportunity as you guys decide on new board members. You know, I don't know how to turn it on, you know, I've been on the board for a month.
Right.
So, and I think, I don't know if everyone currently on the board, the 4 board members, I don't know if we all know how to turn it on. So it's an opportunity for all of us to learn the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a little gathering, and everybody's on the same page.
You bring in, what do you bring into it? Snacks? Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Just know if there's a quorum meeting, it's gotta be noticed, so like I
Right.
said, that brings up an issue, but, could be, 2 of them trained up and then they train up the others.
For a motion that needs to be made? On this, or are we still discussing it? For,
Well, they're discussing and they're taking it back once they get the bylaws and that,
Maybe-
but we're moving ahead with the,
Maybe if that one change, Wayne, if you, after you make that one change, as
Yeah,
far
we
as
can-
remote or manual, then a motion can be
Yeah.
made to accept the ordinance.
cause it's gotta be
So-
approved by them first, and
Yeah.
then we.
Just with the ordinance, it has to be, so it's gotta be, newspaper notice twice, and it's gotta be at least 2 weeks in between there, so you're looking at potentially 3 weeks even before but I think they could act on the actually
Beacon.
setting it up, who's controlling it here right away, because we're gonna have, potentially, there could be an emergency.
so what you're saying, Blaine, is that if there's an emergency right now, we should be able to go turn that beacon on
That people need
until
trained
this is
up.
all set in stone. Okay,
I'm with
I
you on
agree.
that, yeah.
So, motion
Well,
for airport board, have the, direct the airport board representative to meet with sheriff and that knows it, and then get all the airport board members trained up on it.
and all board members learn how to turn it on.
Yeah.
That would be a board decision naturally. You can go play with it and get people mad at you. No,
Well,
Surely not.
entertain a motion.
okay, what did I just say? No,
Direct the airport board representative to meet with the sheriff and that, the sheriff's office be trained up on how to turn it on manually and the airport board.
and that emergency procedures are in effect immediately until,
Yeah, that's already said.
well, I don't think it's been presented. I don't think they,
Your motion was at the big meeting was that it'd only be turned on in emergency.
Yeah.
My understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it. It just need to get people, on board with.
but there hasn't, I guess, okay, I get you. The only thing that I'm understanding is that the beacon's been shut off. There hasn't been anything said turned it on. There is no emergency policy set in place because we're waiting for the ordinance. So that would mean right now that we have to make a decision until that ordinance is in place, that we still have emergency protocol for the beacon to be turned on in an emergency.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll second that.
Yeah, that was a motion.
Got a motion?
Yeah. Me, but
Was that a motion?
I need a
Would
motion.
that work as a motion?
Yeah.
Did you
that's your
get
motion.
that, Randy?
I think so, most of it. I'll go back and
Yes.
listen. Justine Richmond, I just have a question about, what Jack said. So did I understand that the sheriff's department is not monitoring the frequency? The emergency frequency?
That's how I understand it. There's an emergency frequency for pilots that how it was portrayed in our meeting. If a pilot of a smaller plane calls in, on that frequency, it's picked up maybe by a commercial plane that's flying over, relayed to Great Falls, and then Great Falls would contact the sheriff's office here. I believe that's the order of procedure if someone calls in, for an emergency.
Yeah, I don't know, the sheriff office is ever gonna be able.
How, is there another? That sounds like a big delay.
But the sheriff's office has never monitored that, correct? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess that'd be one of the things they'd have to talked about it, they could,
If I put in new channels.
yeah.
All in favor?
I,
Aye, motion carried back. We'll move into the, Granite County Airport Board application.
Oh, we can.
Oh, sorry, Derek, can I see you? Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, on your same reasoning there, I think, just a clear directive from the commissioners to have the airport look at how to get the airport functioning or the beacon functioning remotely from the sheriff's office would be a good directive to have from the commissioners. So I don't know if you need another motion for that or what you would want to do there, but I think having that direction would be good.
right,
Yeah, I think, yeah, well, motion we made now is just for have someone to be able to turn the beacon on now while we're working on looking in the remote side of it.
cause we'll have to have an electrician or something to go out and look at it and see if. We don't know where to get the paperwork on a beacon and give it to somebody that actually
Really could
knows
take-
about.
It could take 6 months to get the remote.
Yeah.
Done.
The hope is the airport board would be meeting recommended.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
All right, going to the county airport board application. We have one from James D. Grassi.
I will make the motion to accept it and put it in the file with the others until we figure out whether it's gonna be 5 or 7.
Okay, I second that. I also want to make another motion, pardon me. I think we should accept all 3 applicants as board members right now, right today, so that they can get with the remaining board members and get things started. Having a 7-member board member would be probably right now, because of the fact we have 3, there's 4 there. I think we need to accept these board members, these applications as board members of the airport board.
I'll withdraw my motion, just go with yours and just accept them so we can move ahead. I'm in favor of yours.
Public comment?
I'll give my 2 cents. The county's being sued by Mr. Grassi now, and I don't think that lawsuit is even reasonable at all. So I think you gotta consider that.
Yeah, Bill Wachowski, I was just wondering who the other 2 applicants are and if you can name them.
Do what?
The other 2 applicants. I can't remember the first one, I know Derek.
Derek Campbell, Greg Barr.
Greg Barr, that's what it was.
Can you say if that suit, is it any conflict with airport board decisions, or is it,
No,
can you say what it is?
so, the lawsuit brought is, to basically put up a lock gate on the, main ingress egress to, Marshall Ridge subdivision. And so, that. Then also, they added, they did just filed a motion here within the last 6 months. Trying to get an injunction against the county so that you guys have to, talk to realtors and have them, instruct them how to act there. That is just, you have no authority over realtors. The whole lawsuit is just, mind boggling in my opinion. So it doesn't affect the airport itself, but I mean, that's the type of person you want on county board. That's my thought.
Is it his lawsuit, or was it brought by the HOA that he's a member of?
It was brought by him personally or his trust. I'm pretty sure he's the plaintiff in it, but yeah.
I'm gonna say, I don't think that pertains at all to the airport board, Blaine. We can't assume what type of person he is because he's suing the county, whether or not he's not qualified to be on the airport.
Well. Is he a reasonable person? That's my question. I mean, and have you read the lawsuit? I mean, it's,
So Blanche, you made the motion to accept all three.
Yes.
You know, we've talked to all three at the last board meeting. You know, I've had conversations with all three personally. You know, there's really no character issues, you know. Derek Campbell brings, you know, a really good quality of, he's locally involved, you know, he wants this community to be successful. He's a local business owner in the community. Jim was a pilot. He's military. You know, he wants to see the airport operations, run smooth. I know Greg's been on town council, and, you know, he also has some aviation experience that would benefit the airport board. You know, again, no motion was made by the airport board to accept all three of these candidates, but we've said that all three of them are acceptable, and then, of course, you guys can proceed with a vote on that.
and yeah, my comments don't go along with Greg Barr and Derek Campbell. I have no issues with. It's just James Grassi and his lawsuit is kind
Well, it's noted, so. Still holding it?
So you're not gonna second it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
already.
okay, but no,
He just noted, he just was giving his two.
Go ahead, Jen.
Just one, whoops, sorry.
Hi, good morning. Can everyone hear me?
yes.
Perfect, thank you. Sorry, I had my hand raised and then I really feel like Blanche just already touched on what I was going to say. I don't know how appropriate it might be to be discussing lawsuits in the meeting right now, but I would like to say that I personally am aware of several people throughout the county that have filed suit or had a suit against the county and were serving on county boards. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I agree with that either, but since it's happened so many times, and I'm not gonna throw names out into a meeting, but I think if his suit is, you know, personal and it's not relevant to his experience right now as a pilot or relevant to his, you know, all of his training and knowledge that he's had for, you know, 30, 40 years. I can see Blaine's concern, but if it hasn't been a situation where across the board, we've been denying people seats because of a county lawsuit, I don't know that we want to start doing that now.
Good. Thank you.
just, I have one response to that. First of all, I think that, well, the lawsuit's an open public record, so I think it is fine to bring it up. The issue would be, and it's happened before, Dr. Snyder was brought litigation against the county. He was on the board. Look what happened there. So that, I think it is relevant to review. Whether you guys, it's up to you guys, it's your decision or whatever, but it definitely is something you should consider. I mean, if you put Dr. Snyder on a board right now, it would be chaos in my opinion.
And plus you asked Blaine for a public comment, so he gave it
Yeah.
sense on it. So can we? Oh,
Good. Lena.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. I agree with, I believe it was Miss Walters, and I also agree with Blanche. And as far as bringing up Gary Snyder, I'm sorry, he was in essence an elected official, and there's a different process in
That's right.
removing an elected official. You even discussed it before regarding a commissioner. And so it should have nothing to do with any of lawsuits against the county. These are advisory committees and boards, and that's what they are, and that's their function. And the members are advisory. And again, I was at the last meeting where the applications were discussed, and each one of those people that applied, the three that you were discussing today, met all the requirements that are on your applications. So that was it. There was nothing about a lawsuit or any problems against the county. Thank you for the record.
Justine Richmond, I agree. I don't think it was appropriate for the county attorney to bring up Gary Snyder, which has no application here as this is discussed. Thank you.
All in favor?
I,
Aye, motion carried. All right, thank you. Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute recess here for a second.
we're running.
All right, we're running about 20 minutes behind, but we will go into the Drummond and Phillipsburg TV district boards. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
So, explain, the current bylaws allow the board to be consolidated, not the actual districts. And the reason was that if they couldn't get enough to be on the board, and that's the situation right now. So, I think that's the recommendation, to consolidate the boards, the Phillipsburg and Drummond TV district board, potentially with having, hopefully one member from the Drummond area.
Right, that's what we're, Sarah Graham, clerk and recorder, I'm on the board of the.
The board.
And we do have another gentleman, I think that you guys, did you accept him last week, was that? Richard Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so got two, but he's from down here, so we're still trying to find somebody else for,
So you're shopping?
we're shopping, well, we're always shopping, yeah. So, but yeah, this is necessary, and then I think in those, cause those are the bylaws that we wrote up that you helped us with like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's still just been me. So, but I get calls from people when they're, when the TV goes out, just to ask about things. And so usually when I talk to those people, my last thing is, how would you like to be on the board?
So you just wanna have one board and one
We'll just have
TV
one.
district, basically?
No, it'd be
Two,
yeah, two separate districts, one board.
There are two separate districts, but they're not levied.
right,
And,
thank you.
yeah, so this would just consolidate the board members because of the fact it's been since we got the TV working and we got this in here, we've had a really
Tough time,
tough time getting board members.
yeah,
So I think this, I wanna say I'm for this.
yeah. I mean, we'll work hard. But then I think, and then the other thing is that maybe twice a year, we would try to come in here and let you guys know what's kind of going
Yeah.
on.
The bylaws talking about now, the meetings will be with the commission. meeting
Right.
Jointly, so it's,
Yeah,
it's noticed and, easy.
And this
place
is
to be.
something because of the fact that these districts are not levied, that the commission helps out with these TV districts to make sure there's TV there. And it's a social thing, and we take the money out of PILT to provide for upkeep for the two districts to have free TV.
we requested that.
Tension, you know, where we help out when people can't afford to, you brought that in years ago, and that's why we went with it, just to help people
Yeah.
that can't afford. Sad, but, you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
And it's not every year that we request the money, it's as needed.
As
For the
needed.
budgets, we look at the budget, how much is in there, so it's not like we're, yeah, give it to us every year. We don't do that, we're just trying to maintain, keep it going with people. Mhm.
I'll entertain a motion
I make a motion that we combine board members to the Drummond and Phillipsburg TV districts and make one board,
Yeah, that's one more, yeah.
call it, PD, no.
I second it.
Public comment,
For the field draw. Yeah. For the draw field.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for all you do to keep on this. It's unbelievable how many people can't afford to watch the and can't afford. So this has been a real plus. It's been.
But they've gotten extra channels, man, some,
Yeah.
they have problems too, but
Yeah.
I mean, I get calls and quite a few calls.
See anything in claims?
I see right here, is this the one on the police report and photos, is that the one laying on the one we talked about this morning? Is for road, is that what?
Miranda's gonna work on it.
If it's not on this part, because it just came in, but it's, for that, what we were talking about this morning, just being on the.
With the grader?
Hit the grader. Other than that,
I didn't see anything looking through the,
I see stuff where the airport and that, barbed wire, post driver, Drummond, barbed wire, post driver for Riddick. And,
Yeah.
clips and pliers just to fix the finishes and stuff.
yeah,
Other than that,
good. You good with them, Gene? Or
I mean-
match?
I didn't, I'll make a motion, we accept the claims.
I second that motion.
What comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Hey, it's Linda.
All right.
So, are you ready?
We're ready.
You're
Oh, yeah.
ready. Okay,
We're ready.
so this is a request to waive the waiting period on a family transfer parcel. So the family transfer survey has already been filed, it's already been processed. They began the process last year about this time. So, and there's a 1-year waiver on, hold time on these properties. So he began it last year and then about a month later, the property went into foreclosure. And so since legal actions started, the bank isn't going to sign off on a plat, so
Right.
we suspend any kind of review that we're gonna end up doing. So his surveyor at that time didn't even have time to finish it and submit it, so he held it, the surveyor held it back. And then, come December, it came out finally of foreclosure and they, for a short time, and the bank said, okay, we will allow you to try to put this on the record so that we can get this out of foreclosure and take care of this problem. So what he's asking is to have the 1-year waiver period that's on the vacant parcel listed, so that that parcel can be sold now. And then, I don't know if you got a copy of the actual findings that I did, but I would recommend you use that bold piece at the bottom. The 2-year waiting period for tract B, which is it's also a significantly large piece where the house is. They have to hold that for 2 years. We will not entertain the lift on that 2-year waiting period. We won't accept any deeds trying to transfer that piece of that parcel. And we won't process any additional family transfers on that parcel during this waiting period. So does that make sense?
Okay, so one question, which is the parent tract?
So the parent tract is the one with the, let me look at mine here. So the parent tract is tract A is the one that he needs the waiver lifted for. They mislabeled the parent tract on there, so that's why I'm saying that tract B will have the 2-year waiting period. Even though it's not labeled as the parent parcel, it's going to have the 2-year waiting period. And it's going to have to be held for 2 years, and we won't process any more surveys on this particular tract of land for 2 years. So, but then we would lift the waiver so that he could market the other parcel and get the property completely out of foreclosure.
Okay, so now this isn't setting precedents, correct?
No, you look at these on a case by case basis. And a lot of time, I get a lot of calls from people saying, well, I'm kind of strapped for finances. It's like, well, it has to be beyond strapped for finances. You have to be at the point where you entered into the legal system to actually have your property taken before you have to be at the financial brink before we're going to look at waiving this. We're not just gonna do it for everybody who needs the money, because we realize there's lots of people out there who need money. But most of the time you can struggle through a year and you can get done. But because of the fact that it went into foreclosure and we had the whole year essentially blown, because it could have gotten filed last year had the bank consented and let it go, but the bank wouldn't, because they were already in the legal process at that point. So, yeah, they managed to pull it. It's almost like a sinking rock. You managed to pull it up high enough for the bank to say, we'll release it, but it's gonna start sinking right back down. And I mean, just philosophically, Linda Block, as a human being and as your planner, I just don't believe land use laws should prohibit, or the government in general should prohibit people from using assets they own to try to save their home. If it's at that point, if we're at the point where I am going to lose my property, I think you have to reach out the hand and say, okay, we're gonna help you, but we wanna make it perfectly clear, you can't continue to make this a habit.
Yeah, it can't be a run-on thing.
Right, which is why it's like, exactly, in 2 years, just like any other family transfer property, any other survey, he will be eligible to do a family transfer if he had an eligible member. And that's how the laws work. You have to wait out 2 years. And so it's like, okay, for 2 years, you cannot approach us. You have to play by the same rules. We're gonna help you with this one parcel, but we're not on the other.
What I need to explain to you two is, I misunderstood this. I thought it was a survey in process. I thought that they were trying to do a family transfer to evade subdivision regulations, which is not the case. This transfer is of record already. So I would, on your recommendation, make a motion that tract A of certificate of survey 1152 F be lifted to allow immediate sale, and that the 2-year waiting period for tract B will remain in place.
And
Right. But I feel that we should give them the waiver.
And at that point, and for tract B, we will not accept the deed, and we will not accept another survey for 2 years.
then they know that they had the wrong ones in there. You were saying,
They knew that, I don't know that they knew that the thing was there, that they labeled them wrong, but it's not, you have the right to lift either waiver, so you're just lifting the waiver. You're just lifting the time wait on tract A.
I'll second it. You recommend it.
I was gonna say, these laws are set up to keep people from playing games. This isn't playing games. It's the upfront playing games
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
That's not the case here.
Any other public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried, passed.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
I'm gonna need back over to that. ECS coming in?
He said he was last week,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Sitting in here,
Is that Michael?
yeah,
I see an email here to Miranda. That says that he will not be available. He is filling in on another project.
okay.
they are getting things done, they're getting.
Okay, on that note, we got some information, there's no internet down below there after they put that wall in. And plus, they need to bring the firemen in and show them and train them on that elevator. Jackie brought that to our attention this morning, I just wanted to pass that on.
You want me to send the email?
Yeah, I guess.
Where's the internet not working?
Sorry,
Where's the internet not working?
downstairs in our top office. For Jackie and Debbie on. And then I brought up what Jackie brought to our attention on, fireman training on the elevator and, internet.
The internet not working.
Blackboard or something, you gotta get internet back.
Okay.
I guess that's, then just wait and see what else they got to do, and then he was supposed to give us an update on that battery backup, and I've looked and went through stuff, and I don't ever remember denying a backup.
Why would we do
Yeah,
that?
they're responsible for that, the cost should be on them as well, I mean, unless there's a change order.
Anyway, that kinda, he
Yeah.
said it's down stored in the basement, well,
That's,
why would we say no?
that's a necessity.
Yeah,
But
gotta have a backup,
Yeah.
yes. So I mean, you have a backup on
he
it.
was gonna bring us to attention on what it,
Is he coming in? or
no, just Patsy won't be here,
Oh,
so.
okay.
We're done. I just brought down one, make a note on,
Right.
waiting on, he's gonna email on Jackie's recommendations and that battery deal.
Yeah.
Where am I?
We're back on, but now we don't have Blanche.
It's okay. I can wait. I'm patient.
Careful, we just got them redone, that's right.
Great.
Yeah, they're nice.
Oh, it's loose.
I think Paul broke that this morning when he. Thank you.
Paul. Who's on that side? Oh.
Still look good. Fix that. Oh, it doesn't be. Put this back.
Thank you.
And then you bring it.
Thanks.
Can I get it?
How's it going over there, Brandy?
I think.
Living the dream?
Doing great.
Yeah, thanks for doing it.
Orders, actually.
So, this is the initial draft, what the fact sheet will look like for the luxury vehicle tax. Oh, I'm sorry, Ashley Todd, Granite County Treasurer, sorry about that. This is just the initial fact sheet, for the ballot, issue that we have for the June election for the luxury lightweight motor vehicle county option tax. It's very similar to the one that we drafted before. This just has a little more details that pertain directly to our county.
So please take a couple minutes to look through it and tell me your thoughts. For the public, I can kind of just go over the bullet points quickly, as this is just an initial draft, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have something out to the public here, the beginning of next month, which would be April. It states what the ballot language is going to be. So it is the exact language that you will see on your ballot. Kind of gives people a heads up to know when they see this initiative on there that they know exactly what it's gonna say and how it's gonna read. Important facts to note, first one on there talks about the NCA allowing for counties to put this out to the voters to vote upon. And it gives you the specific MCA on that. Let's see here. Funds distribution, talks about how the funds can be used, and it is very general. It goes into the general fund, and from there, both the county and the municipalities that receive those funds can allocate those directly into their general fund, or they can set it by a resolution. I already see a typo. And if they want to set by resolution to disperse it to other funds, they can do so. And then it talks about the distribution of the actual collected funds for the county option tax, and how those are distributed. The MCA is noted on there, and it tells you the distribution of 50% to the county, with the other 50% to the county and incorporated towns. Drummond and Phillipsburg, and if you flip over, it gives you a little, what does that actually look like? So we use just a nice even number for everyone to be able to kind of see how that distribution breaks out. This is not money that's actually collected. This is just an example. So if it was the $100,000 collected for the county option, right off the top, 50% of that stays within the county. And then the remaining is by population. And this is the population based off of the last census. And so the remaining 50% gets distributed out by those population percentages. And then the unincorporated part of Granite County also comes back to the county.
So on that, like say, like you'll just use these even numbers you got, but like say there's like a big project, like, you know, like the water line in Phillipsburg or whatever, Drummond. So all this goes into the general fund where if the county is doing pretty well, they can distribute more to the cities or no?
That would definitely be a resolution set by the
Well, right,
commission to
but
decide to do.
Because it all
but-
goes into the general fund though, right? So that
Correct.
it's not earmarked for anything.
No, no.
Could do it, but should you? I mean, I guess that'd be.
Right, I mean, it'd be like an emergency case there or something, you know.
But it's things that, you know, the commissioners, once this is voted on by the taxpayers, that you could come back to and look at yearly. What you would like to percentage wise distribute, because there is no way for us to know how many cars are gonna be registered within our county, right? But if you wanted to yearly at budget time set a resolution that was fluctuating that said, okay, well, we could say that this year we would like to beef up a parks fund, or we would like to beef up the roads fund. You would be able to set that by resolution. And Nancy Iverson with Mako would also be happy to kind of help weigh in on that and kind of give us a little guidance on that. But, and same with the towns could set aside and say, hey, we want to say, take 2% of that and that has to go towards an investment, you know, where we're getting interest. They get to decide that.
Question. It goes into the general fund, correct?
Mhm.
You just said that we could distribute it to the Parks Fund or we could distribute it to the Road Fund. Is that something we can do out of the general fund to transfer to the road fund?
Yeah, the NACO concurs with that.
Or keep it in the general,
Yeah,
which it's not that, it's an amount, but it's noteworthy that it's not gonna save someone's budget with that amount.
Oh, no, not at all. And it would definitely, I would say be by resolution, and if one year you said, no, we want that to stay within the general fund. That's at the commission's discretion. The only thing, really that I was given any guidance on with that is that, you know, if you were to say, want to have it set permanently, that you wanted to distribute it a certain way, that would also, you just set that by resolution.
And that's one thing, because it's in the general fund and it's gonna be under, a revenue number in the general fund, it can be anticipated as a whole amount. It doesn't have to be strictly, okay, I'm gonna set this number aside just for this, because it's part of the revenue budget side of it. It was just gonna help the revenue budget side for the Granite County.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good.
This
Yeah.
is gonna be a flyer kind of just sent out for public information.
Yeah, we wanted to try and keep it short enough that the taxpayer doesn't feel overwhelmed, but also encompassing, you know, the points that I have heard that we've tried to cover before, and more specifying it to Granite County as a whole, not what the county option tax is like, this is what it is doing to our county. This is the impact on our county. So that's kind of, we wanted to kind of gear that differently this time around. I spoke with Phillips County, they stated that they lost about half of their registered vehicles when they put this in. Even if that were the case for us, we're still getting something out of this. It's not.
So one other question on, can you mention the fact that the majority of the income would be coming from an LLC?
I cannot state
You
that.
cannot, okay.
It is not a fact. There are individuals that have these vehicles as well. So I didn't want to get into the weeds on it too much with the fact that there is a possibility the majority of these are LLCs that are doing business as or doing business in Montana, but don't actually own property within Montana. I think that might muddy the waters a little bit, as there is a lot of press right now surrounding this, and I don't want Granite County to
Right,
go.
I don't want to get you.
So what about, like, you know, like boats, motorhomes, campers, they're all exempt from this, right?
Because they have their own depreciation
Yeah,
schedule.
and I was just wondering if maybe if somewhere you had that on there and like. Cause I think that what kind of happened last time, people were like, well, you know, probably looking at all this other stuff,
Yeah.
the toys, you know.
I think, I would hope that the section, there's multiple sections where it says lightweight vehicle.
Right.
And the MCA that we included with the little diagram does show those lightweight vehicles, being included in that.
Can you, like on luxury lightweight vehicles, can you put in parentheses what a lightweight vehicle is? An expensive car, it isn't. Or can you? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
do you see what I mean?
I think you might wanna say it doesn't include, vintage
I mean, if you
vehicles,
explain,
boat.
okay, this light vehicle includes Maseratis and but it doesn't include. What, give me
Blanchard,
a background.
Blanchard Chevy. What do you got with G, what do you have with G?
Well, it's anything that's over 150.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah, but
luxury.
people are,
There's anything over 150, so I mean, you go out and buy a 1-ton diesel and put all the bells and whistles on it, and all this other extra stuff to make it over 150 MSRP falls underneath that category. But it's just a
We
pickup.
could maybe add it,
Called baby steps. Let me hold your hand.
I was just saying, like, if you had something on there,
Explain
just
it.
showing one six stamp, so that,
I get it.
like, every motor.
No, I'm.
But this isn't applying to motorhomes, so yeah, you see it applies to motorhomes.
I know.
They're like, you know.
Their sidebar.
Or sidebar, sorry,
right?
oopsie.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm hearing what everybody's saying.
I mean, as long as it doesn't muddy it up too much, I mean, like you said, put too much information on there to make it.
That's what I was explaining the plans when I was talking, sorry about that.
This is the end of the meeting.
Well, I want the
Just think that if
definition
you
of
put
a
too much
luxury
on it,
light
it's gonna
vehicle.
scare 'em away.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
well, I mean, we could though, I could get it from the MCA, or I could get it directly from the title manual as to what they designate as a lightweight vehicle.
I just think that is
Oh, yeah,
more
right, see that
information.
then,
Yeah,
what their classification is then.
And I could add, I mean, I could potentially add that to the beginning, like under the important facts section. Where the very first bullet point.
Sure.
I could
What is classified as
Yeah.
a luxury car.
yeah. that works.
definition per MCA, definition per title manual.
I think, yeah, I think then that would be, probably be good for sure after
Thank you.
that. Okay. You're welcome.
One of the things that I did wonder if through reading this, the bullet point that directly follows the, example, second bullet point. Where it says of those 3,000 vehicles, approximately 1,900 of those fall into a 10-year depreciation schedule. And then it says, per the MCA, the depreciated value for the taxation of light vehicles is computed by multiplying the manufacturer's suggested retail price by the percentage multiplier based on the type and age of the light vehicle determined from the following table. That is directly from MCA. Blaine and I both had a discussion, kind of trying to figure out how to include that in there without it being too complicated, essentially, because this is complicated. Do you feel that reads for our taxpayer? Do you think that they're gonna read that and understand what we're trying to convey?
Right.
That was a bullet point I struggled with.
Go ahead, Justine.
Justine Richmond, is this gonna be mailed out to all of the county residents? As well as put on the website?
I don't know if we can mail it out or not. I'd have to ask about that, if that's considered electioneering at all.
Oh, you can mail it, but I guess that's, yeah, the expense, if commission wants to do it.
Yeah, just basing off of, say, tax information, it'd probably be around $1,500 to $2,000 to do a mailer. Approximately, that's just basing it off of how much it costs to mail out taxes.
Your thought was businesses, the website, Facebook, or social media.
Yeah.
Would that be considered campaigning for it?
No, it's just putting the information out.
Yeah, they put it up on the boards or like the post office or.
And we talked about doing informational meetings, where Blanche and myself would go, potentially to, the Drummond's Library and Phillipsburg Library and have time for a Q&A on this. We could. The idea was posting in the newspaper, taking a half-page ad out so that it is the full information sheet. Also another reason to keep it to 2 pages. And then, the website, I would like it to be front and center on the website, just because it is a county initiative, I guess, or county ballot issue.
I think that should be a motion on where the commission wants it.
Yeah.
A mailer would be politically neutral. This fact sheet is politically neutral.
Go ahead.
Justine Richmond, I cannot read that table at all on the back.
Yeah.
So it has no meaning.
Meaning it's too small.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
can't
it's
read really anything in the table.
small text,
I mean, I could look really close, but.
I can, yeah, I can try that like that to make it a little more readable. Thank you.
So make a motion today, Blaine, for how to distribute.
Yeah, I think that's,
Right, well, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion, I would go ahead and just put it on the website, and have papers in the stores and that. The post office.
Informational boards, communities,
I'll second it.
public comment. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
how about question and answer meetings, or you just want Blanche and Ashley to set that up, or do you guys wanna direct that?
I think Ashley and Blanche can just go ahead and
Make another one.
have it goes.
Sue Peterson from, down Valley, down Drummond, she's on the library district board, I believe.
Yeah.
She, did approach me and was asked if we are gonna be a part of their candidate meet and greet, and that this be brought up during that, which I said, yes,
Yeah.
of course, but,
Yeah.
beyond that, I think one at each library, is good as well, and I've got dates from the Drummond Library just the other day, so, or multiple. I'd be happy just to coordinate with just Blanche and get dates that work for her as well, and both libraries have said that they have more participation a little bit later in the evenings, just because people are off of work, and it just makes it a little bit easier for everybody to get there to ask those.
Yeah, I think whatever works for you guys and move ahead.
Just say the word, I'm available.
Okay. And just no edits other than that.
Other than the
Commission. The,
description of what a luxury light vehicle is.
yep, definition for MCA, the title manual, and then, visual edit of the, depreciation schedule, and a few little typos on my part.
I think maybe some of the double spacing could be kind of put in to try to get still on two and make the table bigger.
Yeah, I can also reduce the
Yeah.
font size on the top, so just to save on space. We'll be done.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. Just a question. The libraries in Drummond and Phillipsburg, I think that's a good idea to have a works, public hearing. Do they have Zoom capabilities for people that can't attend in person?
I don't know that they do through the libraries maybe necessarily, but I could ask Miranda for the capability for us to use the county's account, and I could always, I have a camera that I can bring with us and my laptop. That's a good,
Okay.
that's a good idea, Elena, thank you.
Okay, and that was speaking, Ashley, was that you?
Yes, sorry, the Ashley Todd.
Oh, okay, thanks. And I just had one other point of clarification. Do I have it right or wrong that this luxury taxes, there's a certain percentage that will go to the county, and of that percentage, a certain percentage goes to each one of the towns individually? Is that how that works? And it would be the town to decide where and how they want to spend it?
Yes, Ashley Todd, that is correct, Elena. the MCA for distribution is MCA 61-3-537 2B. And that breaks it down for you a little bit there, but based off of population of the incorporated towns after the 50% distribution to the county and then the unincorporated. So per the last census, town of Drummond would be 9.36%, town of Phillipsburg 31.98%, and then the unincorporated portion is the 58.66%.
Okay, so then, it's not gonna be up to the county to designate the money from their general fund. This would already be laid out. Am I correct on that?
Right, when we receive the distribution from the state, from the Montana Department of Transportation, say they pay us out our $100,000, then that $100,000 comes directly to the county, and when we receive that monies in, we distribute it out directly to the towns. And when they have their month-end distribution, they get that in their check.
Okay, thank you very much, Ashley. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Elena.
All right.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
We already voted.
Aye,
I lost. Yes, we did.
Elena just missed the public.
Did we?
Yeah, he did. Choose that.
All right, so we'll move on to the 11:30 issue or agenda item. Department head step increase requests.
That's me as well. And just because this does, talk about a performance review, I would like to have it closed, please.
Good. Could we, make a little sign and put up, I got a call on that last time, we didn't have a sign out there, we have a close up.
He said it was increasing.
We used to have one.
Sorry, I've been running behind all day.
Oh, it happened.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna be in a closed session now for a personal matter with an employee.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're adjourned for the day.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so stop.